That was easy. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the first episode of the show, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, as well as the 339th episode overall, titled Operation Lightspeed. We begin this episode out in a desert somewhere, where three men and a camel named Dolores, seriously, are walking around. They find ruins, and this is very racist, I think. I don't know, it just feels bad. Ground opens up from a guy sitting on a relic, and he falls down into a tomb, it seems. His friends are screaming for him. The guy in the ground is excited, and his friends use a rope to get down there. They light torches from flames that are somehow still lit from centuries ago. They find gold, but they also find a big tomb. One guy pushes a skeleton aside, and they decide to open the tomb. Why? No idea. The lid slides off, and steam and explosions erupt. Demonic souls leave the thing, swirling in the air. Time for a kick-ass opening theme song. After that, the spirits are going through a city, knocking people down and just generally freaking people out. In a boardroom, a woman comes in, telling the captain at a table that something has come up. He dismisses his meeting members, and the woman says, "Father, they've escaped. Time to open a safe and bring in some people." First up is the sky cowboy Joel Rawlings, a pilot who is now signing autographs for a crowd. Two fake FBI suits show up asking if he's Joel Rawlings. The woman is in the backseat of the car waiting as Joel is brought to her. Elsewhere, a woman is climbing up the side of a mountain. She's super athletic and super sweaty. This is Kelsey Winslow, and she meets the suits up at the top of the mountain, and she asks, while still dangling, who they are. At Fake SeaWorld, we meet Chad Lee, a swimmer who performs with a big orca. The suits are there, and we see once again that he was one of the people required for this recruitment. Later, the suits are at an apartment on fire, and they ask for Carter Grayson, who is a firefighter currently going into the building. First of all, how did they know he was here? Did they go to the firehouse first and then have to go there? Inside the building, Carter gets a little girl helping her out, and for a moment in the fire, he sees what looks like a demon. He jumps out of the building in a big fiery explosion, and the woman comes over, taking over as she's a paramedic. Carter is okay, but a bit sooty. The woman comes up saying that she knows it's a bad time, but she needs him to come with her. The demon spirits have arrived under the city in a big demonic-looking castle. We meet our villains for the season. The gold monster Diabolico, the annoying guy Lokai, the horrible actress Vipera, and the baby named Impus, who is apparently the son of someone named Queen Banshira. Lokai talks about how humans built their cities on top of their sacred ground, and Diabolico vows to kill the humans who robbed him of their land. Ugh. In a helicopter, all five people see that they're going into a submarine, and Kelsey seems stoked about this idea. We see the submarine moving with a steady sonar ping as it approaches a large underwater base, aptly named the Aqua Base. Think Terra Venture, but it makes a lot more sense. They walk into the Aqua Base, and again, Kelsey's just excited to be here. Then Joel randomly decides to just start touching buttons for fun. The woman catches him correcting his mistakes, and then they walk away with him. They enter the boardroom, and we meet up with Captain William Mitchell, and Joel accuses him of kidnapping. Captain Mitchell says he's free to go whenever, but when Joel tries to leave, he's stopped by a guard, and Mitchell clarifies that this is after Joel hears him out on what he wants to do. Yeah, that still kind of feels like kidnapping. Mitchell explains to them that 5,000 years ago, this part of the earth was inhabited by evil spirits, aka demons, whose only purpose was to destroy and conquer. We see a flashback of a warlock who sealed them away in a tomb, but they feared one day they would escape and return to their city, Mariner Bay. He explains how travelers freed the demons again, and Lightspeed, this company, well, they've developed the tech to stop the demons, and they've been selected for their skills to become Power Rangers. Joel then says, "I heard you out. I think you're nuts. I'm out of here." He starts to leave, but Carter explains that he saw a demon in the flames of the fire earlier, and the woman is like, "Father!" to her dad, which is so awkward. They then get beeped, and on the monitor, we see buildings exploding as the demons seem to be attacking. People are hurt under debris. Mitchell says the city needs them, and suddenly everyone is down to help, even Joel. Mitchell presents the rescue morphers to the fore, and they put them on. The woman then notices that there are actually 5 morphers. Her name is Dana, and she is the 5th ranger now. They go leave, and Dana tells him to grab a jacket. Why? Because uniforms. They get into a bright yellow Hummer, and they start to descend, driving through one of the underwater tunnels as they leave via a ramp into the city. We then see a monster in the city, and we meet the evil patrollers this season, Batlings, who aren't terrible. Carter stops the car by the fight, and they see people fleeing from the Batlings. Carter says they need to help, and the Rangers are fighting off the Batlings, telling people to run away. By the way, Chad is the best fighter easily. Carter then decides to just drive toward the monster, and he gets fired at stopping. He then gets tossed out of the car, hitting a pole. Everyone else is also kind of sucking now. Mitchell tells them to use their morphers. Duh. The 5 then become sudden badasses, telling off the monster. Time to morph. Lightspeed! Rescue! We see their morph, which is a cool one, and I think it's way better than Lost Galaxies. We see the morphed Rangers, and their suits aren't bad, although a bit plain. They pose up a storm, and the monster just sends batlings at them again. Now the Rangers are doing way better using their side arm blasters. Joel does a cool trick of kicking his blaster out of its holster before shooting them. Also, Chad is such a good fighter, he doesn't even need no blaster. Nor does Kelsey. Dana uses her blaster in a baton mode, which is cool. Carter takes on the monster, and Dana and Chad join in with some blasts. Joel and Kelsey join them, firing on the monster, and after he falls down, the Rangers replace their blasters into their holsters in a super showy fashion. The monster explodes behind them. They then power down and the crowd celebrates, hugging them. No secret identities this season. Thank you. At the Aqua Base, the Rangers are given a warm welcome back to the place by everyone, and Mitchell stands before them. He says that now Diabolico knows that they exist, they have to be prepared, and they're super confused. Kelsey thought that was Diabolico, and I just realized these dudes definitely thought this was just going to be like a single fight, and that's not what this is at all. They have a lot more work to do. The end. Okay, this isn't the strongest premiere in Power Rangers history, and it's kind of rushed, but it does pretty much all the necessary things to set up the season. We know about the demons, the Rangers, Lightspeed as an organization, and we saw the Rangers morph. I mean, I don't know what else you would expect from an opening besides maybe including the Megazord, but honestly, it was rushed enough without it. We don't really get to know much about these Rangers so far, but from what we do know, they're pretty well defined. So how will the season continue? Find out next time, but until then, may the power protect you.